Joining us now, a man who can give us some insight into that Gales-Cougars showdown on Thursday night, and a guy who was the lockdown defender underneath Dave Rose, Jackson Emery. Jackson, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's good to be on, guys.
Good to have you back with us. Dave Rose gets a 5-year contract extension. What was your reaction to that news yesterday, Jackson?
Well, I knew for a little while it was going to happen, but when I first heard about it, ecstatic. You know, the biggest thing, we all know that Coach Rose is a fantastic coach. We all know what he's capable of doing. We see what he did with the program from my freshman year and his first year to where it is now. We've won conference championships, gone to NCAA tournaments. We've won those games. We've been ranked in the top 10, top 25, top 5. But the biggest thing that I take out of all of this is that he feels healthy enough to continue, because that's always been the question with Coach with his cancer is, how much longer can he go for? And I think this just tells you that he feels really good, and he feels like he definitely has 5 more years in him.
Jackson Emery with us on BYU Sports Nation talking about Dave Rose's 5-year contract extension. You mentioned how he is great. What makes him uniquely great compared to some of the other big-name coaches in college basketball?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think Coach is fantastic building coach-player relationships. He's really good at coming down to your level, chatting with you, adapting to your situation, talking with you in terms of what your personal goals are, as well as your career goals at BYU. I think another really good thing he does on the coaching standpoint of things is that he's a master delegator. He brings in coaches that he feels can help him win, and he lets them do what they need to do in their respective, division, department, however you want to call it, where they need to, whether it be with the defense or the offense, and he just lets them coach. So sometimes you'll go to practices, and he'll just sit there, and he'll just watch. He'll soak it all in, and then when they go watch film the next day, he'll chat with the coaches and say, hey, this is my philosophy. This is what I want to do. The coaches then take that, and then they come up with schemes around that and get the buy-in from the players.
Jackson, I love the fact that you said he will talk to you about your personal life, outside of basketball. What are some of the things that you will take away from Coach Rose off the court?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing that I remember, and probably the biggest message I received was my senior year. My senior year, we're in the middle of, being a top 10 team. The ride we had that year was just incredible. We had Jimmermania. We just had a bunch of awesome things going on. The future looks bright for us. But sometimes you get lost in those moments, and you start looking further down the road. And, Coach Rose sat us down one day and just talked to us about enjoying the moment. And that, if you don't enjoy it, it's going to go away pretty quickly. And once it goes away, you can never get it back. And I really appreciate that because, now that I look back, it's been 4 years since I graduated. 4 years. It just seems like it was yesterday that I was playing. So, now, everything I try to do in my life, I try to live in the moment, enjoy it, because that's just how it is in life. Things fly by, and if you don't enjoy it, you're going to have a lot of regrets later on.
Jackson Emery, the 2011 Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year, all-time steals leader at BYU, with us on BYU Sports Nation. Jackson, Coach Rose has set up the Lone Peak pipeline. You are part of that. What is it about Lone Peak High School basketball connecting with BYU and that unique relationship there? Yeah,
no, it's a really good question. It was we kind of took the place of, Timpview had the pipeline for football. They still feed some players there, but not as often as they used to with the Reynolds and the Harvey Youngas and the Ashworths and Coveys. But, I think, a large part of it is there's a lot of tradition with a lot of these Lone Peak players, whether it be, parents went to BYU, parents played at BYU, siblings played at BYU, whatever the case may be. But in terms of just quality of players coming out of Lone Peak, Quincy Lewis has done a fantastic job. I feel like he's an elite coach. He can coach at the next level, but he's chosen to be a high school coach and just to develop these players and run his own program. And then a large part of that is, Quincy played for Coach Rose, down at Dixie back in his day. So, they have a lot of the same mentality in terms of run and gun, play, just play hard-nosed defense, and that's really what it comes down to. Is once you feel comfortable in that system, you feel like it's an easy transition into the next level.
Jackson, let's talk about your family home evening situation last night. You tweeted out a picture of Nick dribbling a couple of basketballs. It looked like in a church gym. What happened at family home evening for the Emerys last night?
Yeah, so, the part one was obviously with my 3-year-old and 18-month-year-old and wife, and part two was with my 20-year-old brother. But, we're making a huge effort right now to get in the gym every single night. Right now our biggest focus is just on ball handling. I've talked with him quite a bit, at this next level. Guys are more physical, they're quicker, it's harder to get open, so every little advantage you can have will help you greatly. And right now I feel like, him pushing as a point guard as well as, a 2 guard at times, that, he needs to definitely better his ball handling skills. And so it starts now. We do 30 minutes to an hour every single evening. During the day, he's at BYU. He gets a workout down there, gets shots up there. And I said, listen, everyone loves to shoot the ball. You're going to get a million shots up in the next 9 months, but we got to have a couple balls in your hands, and let's get those handles tightened up.
Jackson, I have said this, for my whole life, that the younger brother is always better than the older brother, because the older brother, spends time with the younger brother. He shows them the ropes, kind of like what you're doing now. At this moment, who would you say is better, you or your brother?
I always have the advantage. The little brother is always going to be better in so many areas, but once he takes on the big brother, it's just the big brother mentality. He kind of shrivels up, gets a little small. He knows who's in charge. But, no, I mean, Nick's going to be a terrific player. I mean, he still has a lot to learn. He still has a long road ahead of him in terms of just getting back in shape and getting back to the playing level that he was before, and even more so in developing even more. But I think he's right on track. He's got a great head. He's got a great mentality. He learned a lot on his mission, very mature. So I'm really excited to see him develop in the next little bit.
What makes Nick Emery great? I mean, you can see his potential, obviously, because you're his brother and you've watched him grow up and play, but you're different players. So in your mind, what makes Nick different than you and makes him great?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing between me and Nick is confidence. And not saying that I didn't have confidence, but, as Brian was alluding to, I mean, being the older brother, you're the first at doing everything. You're not quite sure, is this the way it's supposed to be done? Am I doing it right? Because you don't really have anyone telling you. I mean, you might have coaches and stuff, but when you're in the gym on Monday night, you didn't have that older brother. I didn't have that. So with a little brother, I mean, he saw his older brother do it. He knows what he needs to do. He's confident. And I think that's really what makes him stick out is, I mean, anything that I ever did, we're 7 years in difference in age, and anything I ever did, whether he was 9 or, 20 now, he feels like he can do it even better. So, I mean, it just tells a lot about who he is and what he's capable of doing.
3-time All-Mountain West Conference defender Jackson Emery on BYU Sports Nation. What is this team doing right now to come up just short as we move to now BYU basketball? They haven't lost a game by more than 7 points. They have a couple of quality wins over UMass and Stanford, but they're on the they're outside of the bubble, really, Jackson. So what does this team need to do to try and do the unexpected and get to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it's been a tough year for BYU. A lot of great individual talent. We've seen that with some of the guys that are going to break some records, but as a whole, as a team, it's been a real struggle this year in terms of getting those quality wins and beating some teams that you absolutely should beat and would beat 99% of the time. But, I mean, at this point, I mean, the kind of interesting thing is all around the country, basketball is down. I mean, you look at even the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is not as strong as it used to be, and that's why I feel like Utah has a really good chance of winning this year, is because, I mean, it's a two-horse race between them and Arizona. But, I mean, overall, basketball around the country is down. You look at programs like Florida, Michigan State, these teams that were top 15 programs a year ago are struggling to even just be in the top 25 and to win games. And so I feel like that gives BYU a chance in terms of when you have other teams have really, down years, that keeps you in the mix. But I mean, at this point, BYU have to beat St. Mary's at home tonight. They have to probably go into Gonzaga, win there, if they even want to have a chance in that large bid. But I think realistically what we're looking at is they got to go down to the tournament in March and make sure they come out victorious so they can get that auto bid.
Jackson, with St. Mary's coming up here, the biggest, I think, obstacle is Brad Waldo. Do you think a guy like Josh Sharp, who's come on, this last game and really just an effort player, can come and really make an impact against a guy like Brad Waldo?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Waldo's a big body. Waldo is a big boy. And, I mean, someone like Sharp, yeah, at least not one-on-one. I mean, if we're going to put Sharp on him, I mean, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to monster him the entire game, bring a second defender over and get the ball out of his hands. But, Waldo's, he's smart. He's a senior. He's been through this for several years. He's a pretty good passer. So we're going to mix it up. I think you'll see Kafusi at times. I think you'll see probably Sharp a little bit. I think you'll see Isaac Nilsson, Ryan Andrus. I mean, we'll try to do a lot of different things, but I think the biggest thing is to, fight him first. Don't let him have an easy catch on the block. Try to push him out 15, 16 feet where he's not comfortable. Try to let him dribble down, have the guards dig a little bit, and, make him uncomfortable and keep him off the glass. I mean, last game I think he had, 7 offensive rebounds. So, that really doesn't help your case when he's getting easy putbacks.
Jackson Emery with us on BYU Sports Nation. Jackson, when are we going to get you in studio, man? We got this seat warm for you. We need to get you into Studio B.
Anytime, guys. I mean, I'm only 20, 25 minutes away, but that's the best thing about technology. I mean, I feel like you can be anywhere at once.
That's right. Make sure you bring Andrew Rich with you as well. I still got a couple bones to pick with him. I don't think he likes me anymore, man. I need you to be my personal messenger and let him know that I'm still looking for him and to watch his back.
I'll let him know. He's getting a little soft, Brian, so that will be easy.
See, I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, we got to toughen him up, man. You know how he was with the safety and being a hard hitter. So I think his kid may assault him up a little bit.
Exactly.
Jackson, great to talk to you.
Hey, guys, I really appreciate your time. You guys have a great week and go